You probably want to have a lot of money as a student, but you know, it seems so difficult. It always feels like money is leaking out somewhere. In the past, I often had occasions when I looked at my bank account and was quite surprised. Not in a positive way though. So here's exactly how I routinely save a lot of money as a university student, to not be broke anymore. And I also want you to have a lot of savings. It makes you feel a lot more secure as a student. Like, nobody taught us this stuff in school. After graduating high school, I first had to painfully learn the habit of handling money and tracking all my expenses and transactions in my bank account. Budgeting is the basis for everything else in this video. Budgeting essentially means that you assign a certain amount of money each month to a category. Things like food, transportation, fun activities, and investing. These are some of my categories I make a budget for. Every month, I'm only allowed to spend a fixed amount of money on them. And I personally don't own a car, for example, so I don't have the category car. So this is how I budget. I look at the amount of money that comes in every month, and based on that, I create the size for my budget for each category. For example, I'm like, I won't go bankrupt if I spend $220 a month on food. Budget approved. And most importantly, I try to stick to it. Saving is all about having a certain amount of discipline. And this is what also got me into the habit of checking my bank account every day. Over time, I was able to develop this feeling of spending and saving money. And I also started to understand what's appropriate and what is simply irresponsible. When starting out, right at the beginning of my financial journey, I was really confused. I didn't know how much was appropriate. Is $120 for a dinner a lot? Yes, Max. It is. The simple habit of analyzing my bank account each day gives me full control over the flow of money in my bank account, and I overall feel safer when actually buying things. I only use one single card for all my purchases. Just one card, super simple to get an overview. And most importantly, I never take on credit card loans. This is literally the opposite of responsible saving. Without proper budgeting, I would probably be spending $100+ more during the month, which is huge if you add it up over time. But there's another big issue that prevents all of us from saving money. It's impulse purchases. And geez, I'm so guilty of making a lot of them. So look, we all grow up and watch our peers do certain things. Some run around with all plain sneakers, others have Jordans worth hundreds of dollars. And if you're someone like younger me, you look at the guy with the Jordans and think, oh damn, he gets so much attention, he's so cool. And you suddenly want a pair as well. And next time you go to the mall, it is really hard to resist that urge to buy some, even though you broke.
I will send you to Jesus.
And the Jordans are, by the way, only a metaphor for fancy, expensive things. And the same goes for phones, cars, designer clothes, and so on. So let me tell you, the neighborhood and the environment I grew up in were quite wealthy. Not so much in Germany, but when I lived in Tokyo, Japan, there were quite a number of wealthy individuals around me, especially at school. And you automatically start comparing, which is a really nasty habit. So I had to humble myself a lot and build up some level of discipline. But it didn't always work out. So picture this, it's a normal day, you casually walk through the mall and you suddenly see that nice new hoodie. And then, oops, you somehow now stand at the checkout and you're about to spend your hard-earned money. Happened to me before. And 2 days later, I usually regretted the purchase. Or you'd be like, damn, I had such a terrible day. Let's just order some triple cheese Domino's pizza. Again. For the 3rd day in a row. Once I was able to control my emotions, the money stopped flowing out of my bank account. Equally dangerous is the thing called lifestyle inflation. And for some time, I was also a victim of lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation simply means that you automatically spend a lot more money as your income grows. Someone you know may be making $2,000 a month, but at the end of the month also spends all of it. It's the nightmare of living paycheck to paycheck, getting trapped in the vicious cycle of working a lot, spending a lot, working even more to make more, and also spend more. We want to make money, of course, but also keep the money. And what is the point of making 100k a year but also spending 100k a year? For me, this kind of lifestyle doesn't make any sense because it leads to a lot of instability later in life and also builds bad habits. When we are in our 20s, there is this urge, this narrative that we need to enjoy life and enjoy our freedom. And so many people just go ahead and blow away all the money on crappy stuff and call this particular activity, this money spending, enjoying life. But then they are wondering why they have no savings. And to avoid that, I always try to live below my means and spend less than I actually make. And this automatically leads to hundreds of dollars more in savings. guaranteed. Another thing I'm doing is cutting down on unnecessary expenses. But in the beginning, I had to go and identify all of my unnecessary expenses. So I went through all my card transactions, I found some weird subscriptions and canceled all of them. I also quit going to clubs, which was a huge relief for my bank account. So in the end, I was able to reduce my spending on entertainment, shopping and eating out. So cooking at home is one of the saving hacks that literally prevented bankruptcy in my life. I cook almost every meal at home, I rarely eat out. One, because I'm really aware of my health and eating out usually messes up my health. And two, it's extremely expensive nowadays, especially in Munich where I live, which is the most expensive city in Germany. Here it is so easy to spend an additional $100 a month when eating out. Of course, like everybody else, I love going to a good restaurant. I do that on special occasions, when friends visit, or at business dinners. Going to restaurants is just part of a good life experience. Even though I eat a lot of home-cooked meals, groceries are still the biggest monthly expense. So I had to be smart and make an entire system for my grocery shopping process to get the best quality ingredients for the best prices. So what I did was I paid close attention to all the shops and supermarkets in my area. You know, getting to know their names, their prices, inventory and location. I basically did a complete analysis of my neighborhood. And after some time, I automatically figured out my favorite supermarket and my favorite product with my favorite prices. I usually buy things in bulk to save money. A good example is this protein powder or this 5-liter olive oil, because I notice, I actually use a lot of it every single day. I try to find a balance between healthy, nutritious foods that also support my fitness goals and also the prices. For example, eggs are a fantastic product. They're easy to make, taste amazing, insanely nutritious and very, very affordable. Eggs are probably the cornerstone of my existence as a university student. If there was an affiliate link for good quality eggs, I will literally put it in the video description. So the great thing about being a student is you can use your student status to your advantage. Just by existing, we students get discounts and special deals. It is a beautiful thing. You can get these student discounts at restaurants, when buying tech products, in movie theaters and a bunch of other places. You simply need to ask. That small amount of money you save is gonna add up over time, and boom, after a year it might be a couple of $100. So far I've occasionally used an app called Unidays, where you can find great discounts for tech-related products, Apple products and a lot more. And for your convenience, I put a link to it in the video description. So after graduating high school, I've been living with a housemate for 1 year now. By doing this, I noticed that we both can reduce a lot of costs by sharing certain things in the house. Kitchen utensils, cleaning materials, toothbrushes. What? Basically, we can cut a lot of expenses in half. If you're in a situation where you need to pay your own rent, splitting it with one or more people is huge. When I graduate from university and move to a different place, I will certainly not live completely alone, but try to find a good housemate. If you find someone great, it is a lot of fun. And on top of that, you get to save a good amount of money in the process. How much you want to save at the end of each month, of course, depends on your preferences. You can be a more aggressive saver and really live below your means, or you can do a more relaxed approach. I'm personally a minimalist guy. Spending a lot of money on unnecessary stuff just doesn't get me excited, because eventually the things you own end up owning you. I definitely didn't steal a quote, but it slaps. At the moment, all my basic needs are met, so I'm able to save most of what I make and then continuously invest that money to build long-term wealth. Of course, I don't want all of my savings to sit around in my bank account and watch crazy inflation eating up all of it. What I do with the saved up money and my investments, this is gonna be the topic of a different video, so subscribe. The ideal scenario is that you make a good amount of money and also save and invest a large portion of that. I'm working towards that every single day to create a better future. I hope you do the same. Love you, and as always, stay focused.